Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Barry and Mike's Model Railroad Tech Show for today, the 25th of August, the last of the summer. So I hope everybody enjoys. Tonight we'll be discussing methods of turnout control via either our DC manual, DCC, etc. So we'll be going over some various methods. And please do not forget our great YouTube model builders, your source for free model railroad resources online. We have our online e-magazine, which is free. We have the live chats and presentations, which you are part of tonight. And join us every month for our live show with Bill and myself and our cast of folks. And everything you need to know about this is on YouTube, modelbuilders.com. And don't forget our big build contest, which is coming up to its deadline. It's being hosted by our friend Eric Hall from the YouTube channel IamRRO.com. Basically, you have to build a model railroad structure and put 3 videos about it on YouTube. Eric does have a video on his channel talking all about it and telling you what you need for each video. And all the rules and submission forms are on YouTubeModelBuilders.com. So, how's everybody this evening?
Awesome.
Well, that's good, Jim. Good to hear it. I haven't talked to you in a while, my friend. So, we're going to discuss what it takes to control one of these. It's made up demonstration board here. The simplest thing that anybody could do for a turnout is obviously something like a caboose hobby ground. So I have a.
Excuse me just a second, Barry. If you would present yourself, we would be able to turn off those chiclets across the bottom.
Oh, okay. Hey, you're good to know. You probably know more about that than me. Okay, present to everyone. There we go. So what I have here, like I said, is a simple Caboose Hobbies ground throw. And I installed that. Basically, I made this board up out of some masonite, tacked down my turnout, and then mounted this with a couple of small nails. It's pretty simple to do. On the throw bar here, there was 2 holes. I cut the end of it off to make it a little shorter and put the pin on the ground throw here in the second hole. That left me room to mount it. So it's simple as going like that, back and forth to operate it. So this is as low tech as it usually gets. So, but if you got a big yard, it's close to your layout, this is the best thing you could possibly use.
And well, other people, I don't know about that. You know, we were at the show over the weekend. The junior engineers really had problems determining whether the switches were set or not. I mean, eyeballing the switch, the way they're set, isn't always counterintuitive. I noticed the junior engineers, when I told them to set a route for me, they always set the switches incorrectly. So it's always good to have some sort of visual indicator, like you said, with the ground throw or some sort of
a switch flag or something of that nature.
Yeah, exactly. Because especially novice, I mean, looking at the switch, it's a little counterintuitive.
Yeah. Now, if I may say, and I'm new to this game, but what I did is when the switch is in the direct straight line position, I put a green paint on that little tab, and then when it was in the curved section, I put a red on there. So if it was switched in the curved section, I would see red. If it was switched in the green straightaway section, it would look green, and that's how I keep track.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that is a great idea, actually, Jim. You know, I mean, something simple like that. I mean, you can, with the controls you can get these days. I mean, you can have panel indicators that are colored like that. Like ours, we use a little controller for our servos that has 2 LEDs. So Therefore, it's real easy by seeing which LED is on the one that's lit up on the diverging route or the one on the straight route.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both yellow. You can get them so they're red and green as well, which is probably would have been a better thing. Our one young engineer, he's 23, but he's autistic. So, on occasion, he would fail to tell me to throw a switch, and he would throw it himself, which I found out makes our controls get out of sync. So I'm going to have to change the type of control board I'm using. But it's pretty straightforward, to put indications on there like that. So the other thing that I was going to do tonight that I could not find them. I have some tortoises. I was going to mount one on here and show you how to wire it up and everything, which that's my fault. I failed to find them ahead of time. And I even went out and bought one of these. I'll show you here in a second. And so I will probably do a video on this at some point. But this is called a hair. It's a little control board that you can hook up to DCC. This fits right on the edge card connector of your tortoise turnout and allows you to DCC control the tortoise. There's a newer version of this coming out sometime later this year. This is like a version 1. So you can use a simple switch command with this. It's also got the ability to use, I believe, a block detector to do implement an auto throw. So like if you're coming up against the turnout, say you're coming in from this direction and the turnout set against you, it would detect that and automatically throw it out of your way. So it helps prevent derailments. And it also has power routing for your switch points built into this with solid state components versus using the mechanical contacts on a tortoise. So that actually would help save you on wear and tear on the tortoise contacts and potential problems there. So I apologize for not finding my tortoise to show this off, but like I said, I will be planning to do a video to go along with this and show everybody what it does. So basically a tortoise, you control it by applying the 12-volt power supply to it, and you switch the inputs and outputs via toggle switch. And it's what they call a stall motor machine. So in other words, when you apply the 12 volts, it drives the motor to one end and holds it there, basically stalling the motor, but it draws so little current it won't burn up the motor. And then when you throw the switch in the other direction, basically reversing polarity to the motor inside, it slides back and just holds it at that position. So that's a universal staple of model railroading is people using tortoises for turnout control. So more recent developments have been in the area of using servos. That's what Mike and I both like to use. And where did I put? There's my servo. So little $3 or $4 micro servos like this. And when I was doing the research for putting turnouts controls onto our club layout, Mike showed me about the servos and everything. So I started investigating pricing and such. And the Tam Valley system came in at a lot cheaper price point per turnout, because the tortoise sells for about $18 list price. The hare sells for $30 list price. So now you're talking $50 a turnout for DCC control. So what we have here is we have, I think this is 5, the relay board for switching like frog power and such, a $4 servo. So we're up to 9. 11 with the $2 relay daughter board, so you can drive 4 relays. So now we're at $11. Okay, you're talking $2 for the front panel controller, so that's 13. $4 for the wood bracket, which is 17. And then the quad board here, this controls all your turnout, 4 turnouts. This is $38, so it's less than $10 a turnout. So now we're looking at $27 a turnout for control versus almost 50. And like I said, the little control board here comes in a kit for $2. You solder the connector, 2 LEDs, and your micro switch there, which operates it. So what I'll do is give everybody a demonstration of how this all goes together and go over the components and everything. Now I can actually power this off of a 9-volt battery because it takes anywhere from 18 to 20 volts. So, oh no, yeah, 5 to 20 volts, I mean. So let's lay out all our components here and then I'll go through them again. Come on out of my bag. Yeah, so we've been, how many years have we been using these now, Mike?
Oh, geez. Good 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, and it's worked out very well. We haven't had to replace any components or anything, so. All right. Let me grab a servo there. And I've got our control board. I got a little extension harness. So, and we'll get a bracket out here. So, I mean, if you guys used any kind of like snap machines or anything like that to do your turnout controls at all? I mean, what kind of experiences do you guys have?
I think I've used everything but a servo so far. I've used years ago we used to use those little worm drive motors that were god awful that, you know, as it turned the motor, but little motor turned sideways and it would spin the motor and spin the car sideways. I started using tortoises on my last layout and I thought I would on this one, but the thickness of my bench work is going to be prohibitive, so I am definitively sold on using servos, but I have not yet, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I use, well, they call it Team Digital, basically the same thing, servos.
Oh, right, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Now that relay board you got there, you got, I've checked, you can plug it into the Team Digital board, but just using a Y harness.
Yeah, you probably can, cause as long as it has the right voltages and everything, it should plug right in. So.
Yeah. The beauty I like about the Team Digital stuff is your servo doesn't have to be perfectly centered when you're setting it up, first fitted, as long as it's reasonable, because then you can adjust the center position. Then the left throw and right throw adjustment for the load, so you can get sort of set it up so it's just touching.
Yeah, because on the control board here, there's these push buttons to adjust the servo position. So
yeah,
let's go up here a little bit. So what I've done in the servo horn kit has all these little horns and stuff like that to control the control arms. There's 2 little bushings, rubber bushings. So you just put these in the top, and then in the wood bracket, it just slides into the notch here. There's a hole to serve as your fulcrum. So you got to put the servo motor down the right end. Then you slide it on top. The bushings and the flanges are on top. And where do we find my screwdriver here? So there's these little screws with ferrules on them. Okay, so they just slide right down to the holes there. And you just screw them in.
Yeah, I make up my own brackets using a bit of PVC.
Yeah, you can. I mean, a lot of people do it. They sell, there's 1,001 kind of brackets, like Barrett Hill. That's something I'll talk about a little later. But they make a plastic bracket that's got a micro switch and everything on it. So there we go. One servo assembled onto the bracket, and you would put your horn on, and then I have a little servo centering tool that plugs the servo into, and that'll set it to the center position. Then I'll readjust the horn. Okay, so let's get the board here. Now the control board, like I said, the fascia controller, these sell like $2 a piece in kit form. You can buy them, I think $2 or $2.50 or $3 pre-assembled. But they just have a little on the top of the connector. It tells you which is the signal, which is the ground, which is labeled black. So you follow the color code in the wire and just plug it right in. And then this is just a Y harness I'm using for extension. Then on the connector here, or the circuit connectors here, this is for your servos. This one's for your controllers, and it has signal red and black. So I align the black wire like so. Pop it on, and my servo goes over here. Same color code and position. There's several, there's like the red and black and white and red, black, and orange. There's like 3 different color codes, but they almost always have the black wire. And these are standard RC controls. Now, this is your expansion board. You plug your relays in here, and you can use these connections for other options, like remote toggles and stuff. So there's an expansion port on here to stack another board. So this just plugs right like that. Let me get it up on top of the board there.
That's the board you use. That's the board you use to couple it to a signal system so that it can block, so it can block.
Well, this one here is actually the signals over here, Andrew. This is there's on the next version of this board. There's a separate connector like this for signal. This here is the relay driver board. So that's what lets you plug these relays in. So there again, S in black for signal in black. So the black goes to the B, and that's port 1 there. So now this is tied to port 1. This is tied to port 1, and the relay here is on port 1. So let's hook up a battery here.
Oh, got light.
There we go. And as you can see here, we have the LED, and and there's the servo moving, and now it's set, and goes back, and you just there's 3 holes or 4 holes you drill in your panel, and the instruction gives you a drilling template, and 1 screw into the middle of the board holds it in place, and then I just draw my track diagram so it goes right through the middle of the switch. Then this is my straight, this is my diverging, or vice versa, depending upon how I'm drawing things. And just simple push, the LEDs toggle, and servo moves. I mean, it works great.
The other thing you got to remember with that relay board you've got there, if you get the right one, because I do 2 versions of it. One's a double pole one. You can use one half of it for your powering your frog, and the other half for your signals.
Yeah, that's what we do on ours, because we do frog switching on one set, and we have a signal lamp that comes off. So right here you have 2 single pole throw switches on here, single pole, single throw on each side. But you can gang these together by tying the common and up your amperage. They also sell a 10 amp version of this. So.
Yeah, I think the 10 amp version is only a single pole, single throw.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, that relay board there, that can plug straight onto your board and do the same thing rather than going through the motherboard.
Yeah, depending upon which connector it plugs onto there. I don't think they all fit together because of the spacing of the connectors. But let me see here. Where's my instruction sheet? Okay. So what we're going to do is give you a demonstration here on how to set the servos. So we don't need the relay board anymore. So we'll just pull that off. This way you can see the servo easier, I think. Let me make sure you can see it. There you go. So these push buttons over here all are for setting up the servo. So I always forget which one. So
the other thing too with the Tam Valley, there's CVs you can set the servo movement as well.
yes,
So,
yeah, actually there is. So there's a jumper here that says run and align. So you pop that off, put it over on the align pins. Okay. Then you hit the select button and hold it till the LEDs start flashing. And you see now red's lit up on one here, and these two LEDs are flashing. And then I can adjust the movement of the servo. I think I got it right. Yeah.
The horn is moving.
Yeah, see there, I can make it move. Jump to another servo. There we go. Okay. So you use this to adjust your positions. And then when you're done, you hold the button. Come on, let go.
It seems complicated when you first do it, but once you've done one,
It is, I know.
Very
I've done these like a few times, so let's say hold select until the C LED starts flashing. That's okay. There we go. We're back out of program mode. So let's go. Okay, the C button is flashing. And then you know, this is my fat fingers. There we go. Wait a minute. I'm getting all screwed up here. There we go. Wait a minute. I know what's going on. I was mistaken. The jumper, when you're doing it manually, the jumper's got to be on the run position. I had it on the align position. There we go. All right. Now you press the up and down buttons to it. There we go. Okay. Then press select again to, now we're on throw. So there's our throwing position. Then this way, where they're flashing slow like that, you can change your speed. You press up and down to set your speed. Then you just work your way through each of the servos. And then hold select to exit. There we go. See, now you'll see that the movement is a little different. So you can swing this all the way around as far as you need, but depending upon how you do your throw bar, you don't have to do too much to it. So, okay, let's pop the power off here, and we'll disconnect the servo. So the Phoenix block connector here, you can feed in DC voltage or AC voltage up to 18 volts, I believe. And this can be used to power servers on a DC layout, but you have to use the fascia controllers. Or you can run track input to here, and that'll be your DCC signal. And then there's a jumper here for external power to your servos. So that way you can power the servos with a separate 5 volts and the board itself, and then this will just be your DC input or DCC input. So this comes, the kit for the brackets comes with a nice heavy throw wire. So like when your servo's centered, you'll see the horn sticks way out here, and the wire goes through there. So as you can tell, unless you can get real close into the horn there, you're going to have a real short throw. But it's way down the bottom. So what you want to do is bend and offset like this. So the wire actually comes out here. Then you bend it out, down, and out vertical that way. So it's, let me give it a quick, let's see here. Grab my pliers and show you. So we'll.
Your hands are off screen. There you go.
Yeah. So we'll just give it a little bend like that. Okay. Let's see it better that way. And then go down just a short ways. And this is somewhat trial and error. And then you want to reverse it a little more. Okay. So it kind of looks like that. Then you can slide it into the hole. Okay. And then get this wire out of the way. Yeah, see, I overdid that. I knew it. All right, let me straighten that up a little bit and bend it further down. Like I said, if you do enough of these, you get pretty good. I've only done a handful, so. Well, there you go, and then it just goes right into the end of the servo like so. And then usually what I do is bend the end over. And then I try and bend it. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, what we'll do is take this off and I'll show you what I do. I take the end here and bend it 90 like that, and then again. Okay, that piece of wire is gone.
Boing.
Yeah. All right. That's why they give you two, actually. No, there's two brackets. I'll find it later. Let's start this over again. So up one, up two. That's a little bit better. Okay. There we go. There we go. And now we'll take that and we'll bend it 90. And then bend it 90 again. So you see what I've done there? And then you just take that and fit it back into the hole in the servo to keep it from coming out. Sometimes you gotta bend it tighter though. And then it takes a little bit of patience to do this here. There we go. Okay. Now you see I have that little bit extra sticking out there. What I'll do to keep it from popping up is fold that back. And then usually you have to get in close and bend it. And then you can grab it further out and bend it some more. Because otherwise it'll hit the servo body. There we go. That's what I want. Now I can put her back in there. Put her on. And there you go. Now you can see as you turn the servo, see what the wire does? Walks back and forth. And there's a little tiny screw that you put in the top of the servo. But that's how you get your turnout to work there, just like that. So if you can see it, let's do it this way. There you go. You can see how it moves side to side because the hole in the board here acts like the fulcrum on a tortoise. So, now Mike, you have one already set up, don't you?
Why, yes, I do, Barry. Let me switch cameras here real quick.
All right.
See. All right. Well, first of all, let's take a look at my control panel here. And basically, here's my servo switch. The singlet right here has 2 buttons and 2 LEDs. The other thing with the Tam Valley system, you can have the LEDs flash back and forth as the servo the points are in motion, or you can just have them, just flip once. I mean, you have a whole lot of configuration options with that. This is actually a singlet. It's a single version of the board. So I have 2 buttons, and I lined it up so basically I have a button to throw and close the switch. And let me show you the installation of the servo right here.
Because here's another good thing with servos. There's a lot of mounting options you can have. You can mount them under the table, above the table.
There we go.
There.
Yeah. See, basically what I did is cut a hole in the roadbed. There we go. Jeez, I have trouble working backwards. All right, so I cut a hole, and basically the wings are sitting on top of the roadbed. This is great if you have like tight clearances, if you're between decks or something in a helix, or or if you just really don't care about the scenery as much, but you care more of the operation.
Because you could cover this over top of with a relay box or something,
Yeah, a relay box or a building. You just have to make sure that the actual linkage between the servo and the switch is unimpeded. That's the only caveat. And basically, what I did is this is essentially directly wired. This is hooked directly to it. With what Barry was showing you with the harness, you're basically going through the fulcrum, so the servo is working backwards.
Yes. So when the servo turns left, it makes the turnout go right.
Right.
This way is, like you said, it's direct.
Right.
When the turnout goes left, the arm goes left.
Exactly.
Because usually, when you mount the servo, boy, I got the dropsies tonight. I swear, I'll show you mine. When usually you're mounting the servo, it sits this way. So when the arm goes this way, the wire goes the other way towards me. So surface mount is just the opposite function. But
Yeah,
it works just as easy.
You can remedy that problem by just turning your whole bracket around 180 degrees.
This is true. Yeah, these are designed to mount that way, but you can certainly make a bracket where it stands the other direction too, because you would just have to put a bracket that holds it this way instead of being up here, so. But yeah, there's 1,001 ways to mount these things. There's like the brackets from Barrett Hill mount the servo vertically like this, and then they have the arm out here or up here moves the wire like this, and then they have a fulcrum point above it, so it does the same thing, but the servo is mounted this way, and then they have a little nub sticking off the end of the arm that can work a micro switch to do frog switching.
Mm-hmm.
Or they have a bracket without it. So
it's much thicker though than mounting it the way you're suggesting, right?
Oh yeah, this way you're talking inch and a half. You know, it
Not
takes
horrible, but in the current application, it's an inch or so. I mean, that extra half inch is a lot in well, for my case, it's a lot.
Oh yeah, well sure. I mean, I'm hoping to only do like 3 inch deep, which essentially is 2.5 inch deep framing under my bench work. So these are critical because the tortoise is way too big to fit under there.
This mounting I did here, basically, that only sticks about like a quarter of an inch below the sub road bed. So I mean, that's like, basically it's nothing.
Yeah, that's
and you could sink that deeper into the roadbed, so the arm could practically be right adjacent to the switch and directly push it.
Yeah, that's a possibility too.
Because your wire comes out down at an angle, then makes a left-hand bend to go up to the throw bar, right, Mike?
Right, exactly. Because I just decided to put the wings on top of my sub road bed. So yeah, I guess you could sink it deeper if you wanted to, or you could raise the track up with more cork.
Well, I love how that's mounted for like a staging application. That's perfect. Getting to it for maintenance.
You're absolutely right, Andrew. That's a great point. Is that in the areas where, like Mike said, you don't care about the scenery, having it like this. I mean, like I said, I might mount it a little deeper so the wire is just straight, but it's just a matter of bending the wire is all. It'll drive it either way.
Yeah, and you could have a staging shelf that's only 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 plywood thickness, and your servo wouldn't hang down hardly any below that. It'd be perfect for staging.
No.
But in a application, I think I would still want to hide it underneath. But my benchmark is no thicker than 2 inches under the. Yeah. Well, rarely thicker than 2 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me measure something here. So if you count the arm and everything, this is 1 3/8 thick with the arm attached.
Perfect, and that even gives you enough room that you can cover the servo with a little flap of styrene or something. I'm going to make access underneath my benchwork so I can pull it out if I need to replace it, and then that it's not so tight. Yeah, beautiful.
There's another mounting bracket.
What you got there, Andrew? Oh yeah. I mean, they come in 3,000 different varieties,
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that's your right, your tracking points there, and it's throwing the wrong way, all you do is unscrew it, and mount it the other way, right the right way.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen
there, you can actually tilt the throw in reverse.
Yeah, I've actually seen these where they mount them with L brackets, and then the wire is hooked in a hole on the arm, and there's a fulcrum where it makes the wire flip up here, but it goes through the hole here. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it. Now what's that, Andrew?
I also make my own brackets out of just a bit of the plastic dressing for around tabletop that covers the edge of the timber.
Yeah.
Out of that, and I cut a little piece off, drill my hole for my fulcrum. Once my servo's in place, I just feed the wire through the little piece I've cut off. Once it's got it lined up, I just hot glue the little fulcrum point in place.
Nice.
And it cheap. You buy an 8-meter length of that, and that'll do about 40 turnouts.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because if you took that with this and just put the channel like here, let me bring my camera up. So if you put the channel on both sides here and just let the little flap stick out and cut the sides off, then the arm would swivel back and forth here, and the hole through the plastic would be your fulcrum. And then you could mount these on L brackets or standoffs or something, or glue them down if you wanted to. But I'd make them removable so you could maintain them.
Well, I put the servo in that way, so the arm's up here and the
Yeah.
wire's going down this way. And with a little bit of offset plastic, I feed it through the hole. Once I got it all lined up, I just glue that bit of plastic in place, and that's my fulcrum.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And now on the other side, where the throw arm from the servo comes out, I just hot glue or screw a microswitch to that side.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I can do it this way. There's
right. Okay.
Because I got the other bracket. Servo goes there. One goes down to a fulcrum point, which I glue in place once I got set up. The other side goes down to the microswitch glues on. Well, I'll do it this side, and it's that. So as it turns, bang, cheap.
So it hits a micro switch. Nice.
Yeah. So one side the wire's going down to the fulcrum pinhole that you glue in place when you set up. The other side you mount your microswitch.
Oh, that's really nice idea there, Andrew.
That cost me about 0.1 of a cent.
Yeah. Like I said, these are really beautiful, but they're $4 a piece, you know.
Yeah, Tam Valley used to sell these brackets, but they stopped. They're making their own wooden ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they are. I mean, they're changing a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm looking at... What's that?
When I was using these, I used to just put a double-sided tape in it.
Yeah.
Get my wire from the fulcrum up to my points. Once I had it in exactly the right place, bang, that held it there while I put 2 screws in it.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
The other thing for those who are interested, I don't know who it is. I think it might be Team Digital. Make an automatic centering for these servos.
Yeah.
You plug it in, turn it on, automatically centers your servo, and you can line everything up.
Yeah, I don't have mine here, but yeah, I have a little board that you plug in, and there's an adjustment dial on it to center up the servo the way you want. Yes, you can get them at RC shops. There's also on the Tam Valley board here, if you set in the alignment jumper, what it does is it cycles the servo back and forth, and it measures the pressure, and then it reverses it, and then it sets the points by itself.
Yeah, those Tam Valley singlet does the same thing.
Yes, it goes into auto alignment mode.
Auto align. It automatically finds center, then it goes either side to find the pressure point, and that's where it sets itself. So it'll find the throw pressure point and the closed pressure point, and that's it done.
Yeah, and actually it works pretty good. I mean, we have, let's see, 4, 6, 8. We have 8 of these in use on the club layout right now, and we still haven't done the yard area yet, or there's one more I have to add down at Lehman Junction for the Denlier's lumber yard, but the main yard is going to need a whole bunch of them, so there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 7 or 8 more. So
Team Digital do ones that got loco netting capabilities as well. But I use Team Digital, as you probably can see on the screen I'm sharing. That will allow me to up to 8 servos. But on each one of these 8 servos here, I can parallel 2 together for crossovers.
Oh, nice.
They got 2 points thrown there, and 2 on that one. They go together.
Oh, okay.
You get a remote button
for like your front panel controls.
The front panel, and it also has. I can't see it on the photo. There is somewhere here where you can have. Along with the buttons here, you can also have LEDs going out to the control panel
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's I've seen some other systems that are like that. And it's actually the new Quad LN board from Tam Valley has up to 8 servos with an expansion board, and it's got LocoNet capabilities, because that's what we ran into this weekend running our club operation, is that I was operating the panels on JMRI as dispatch. I had 3 train crews running, and occasionally one of them would not want to wait for me and would flip the panel button and throw the turnout, but it didn't register on my panel. So next time the next guy comes down there and says, set to diverging route, and I say, it is, he says, no, it's not. And he looks at his panel and shows thrown, or I mean, it shows closed, and he looks in the track, it's closed. So I click my button, it throws it to the diverging route. Now my panel shows like it's closed. So that's when I would
Barry,
have
that would be the senior engineer would have told you that. The junior engineer would have just wrecked the train.
Well, this is true. Yeah, we had from the EMAG last month. We had Chris and Billy along with Phil and Bessie. So Phil and Bessie was the one of the senior engineer, and then Chris and Billy were the junior engineers. Chris is 23, and he's autistic, and then Billy is 8, and they both did a really good job. I mean, there was times when I had to go do stuff that I'd say tell them the tower is down, use local control with the panels, and they were fine. They ran 3 trains back and forth all day. They knew exactly what to do, but it was real fun doing it from the panel. I sat there with my computer. We had radio headsets that we hadn't used in like 10 years, and we resurrected them, put new batteries in them, and they all worked. Thank you, Radio Shack. And then, I just played tower. I would go, tower to 89. Please depart East Strasburg Station. Take yard siding. Await inbound train. And then the next guy will say, ready to depart Picnic Grove. I tell him 90 clear to depart Picnic Grove to East Strasburg. When he go by, the other guy come out. The other guy down the far end will come out and meet him at the Picnic Grove. We did this all weekend, actually for 3 straight days, and it worked out great. It was our first formal controlled operating session in our club's history, and we were 20 years old officially as having the layout built. So it was fun. We had a ball this weekend.
There's my control board on the layout for all my servo controls. The beauty about it is Team Digital ones, there's one button to press. You just press it till the LED flashes, then you can program the servos for it directly from your throttle.
Nice. I'll have to check them out, because I'm getting ready to build a whole demonstration setup to do for a clinic. So I want to put all different kinds of systems on there. I want to use the Tam Valley. Now that I know about the Team Digital, I'll definitely try that out. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Barrett Hill. They're kind of a new, I would say, vendor in the market, and they make touchscreen controls, which are really nice. They're actually little capacitive touch switches. So let me see if I can pull them up here.
Yeah, at the present moment, they're really only compatible with Team Digital stuff.
Well, they have their own. They actually have their own bases too. So they have. Let's see here. Go and share that.
By the time I read about them, they only had the switches compatible with Team Digital, so they might have actually built their own controller now.
Yeah, they actually have 3 different bases, they call them. All right. Let me just present myself here. Present to everyone. There we go. So you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, so these are what the touch toggles look like right here. And you put them behind a clear, like acrylic panel, and they have a single LED, and you can have it go on, off, red, green, and they plug into these bases here. Now, this is what they call a direct base, which is used for stall motors. So you can see they have a little adapter here that plugs right onto a tortoise machine. They have a snap action base, which works twin coil switch machines. And then they have the servo control base, like right here. And then this one here, these outputs plug or control 8 servos. So the nice thing, I think let's see what the price of this is. So you get let's see, the control base is $35, and they sell servos for $6.90, but you can get these for $4 off of eBay anytime. So this is comparable in price to, for the board to what Tam Valley sells, but this box for that price supports 8 controls and 8 servos, whereas for that same price, Tam Valley only supports 4. But their controls are $2. If you look at the touch controls, they start at $7.90. So you're talking $6 more. But still, I mean, I'm going to do a whole cost analysis, and I'll probably post it up on the forums and stuff, or that anybody wants, I can email them the file. But I'm starting to think these guys might be a little bit cheaper than even Tam Valley. But now I have to, thanks to you, Andrew, I'll check out Team Digital as well.
But can you tie an accessory decoder to that as well, so that you get the press on the fascia as well as DCC control from JMRI?
Well, this does DCC control, and then the touch toggle here
is for the fascia.
Yeah, this is what goes on the fascia. You can see it goes red or green, and they mount behind a. You draw your panel and print it out, and then you put it on over a clear piece of plastic, and then mount these behind it.
And Joey Ricard Joey Ricard, Tracks the Scenery, done a great video of that, where he took a $2 photo frame from Walmart or something, and printed out something, stuck those behind it with clear tape.
Yeah.
And literally with $2 and 10 minutes worth of time, he had a control panel that looked like he spent $100 having it commercially produced. It's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. I mean, they actually have a real tech appeal, and that's why I started. I said, no, I want to take a look at it, because that's the first time I ever saw him was on his layout when he had it at a show one time. So I definitely want to check him out. And on a rough look, they're very similar in price, if not cheaper than Tam Valley, but I have to take a look at Team Digital now as well, because that way it would give me a fair amount. But, I mean, tortoises are about as reliable of a turnout control as people have ever had. They run forever. They're simple to wire, but they're pricey. To do DCC with them, essentially you have to buy an accessory decoder for each one, unless you can find a quad board that can control them or something like this. Now they have the base here. Let's see how much the price for the base was here. So if you go into the direct base, so these are for stall motors. So let's see how much they are. So so they are, an 8 controller is only $32. So it's actually a little bit cheaper. But the servo was $4. This is, a tortoise is $18. So I mean, I can't see how Circuitron in this day and age can stay alive, but they're a known commodity. They're reliable. They're easy to wire, and you don't have to muck with any electronics if you don't want to. So they have an appeal.
And they're very, very small.
A tortoise? Not really.
No, tortoises. No, the servos.
Oh, yeah.
They have so much appeal because of size.
A tortoise is about. Let me close that. I mean,
there's your link for your Team Digital.
Yeah, it says the servos, see this big. A tortoise is about that big. Okay. It's a heck of a lot bigger. And I want a smaller size package, so I really like the servos. I want to be able to do smaller, lower profile bench work, because I do a lot of portable layout stuff.
I have to believe, Barry, that they came up with that crazy sideways servo mounting methodology because they felt bad because the tortoises are so big.
Well, you might be right.
They just don't want that. Don't want people to think that. Oh yeah, it can be really compact. Who knows?
I mean, the tortoise. There's right angle mounting. You can mount them right angle, and there's ways to make them work. But besides using like the caboose ground throws, there's also things like the Blue Point controllers, and they're not terribly expensive, and they're pretty flexible because you can mount them at odd angles and use a flex to get away from me, bug. So you can use like a flex line like they would use to control like an aileron on a plane in an RC world and operate your turnouts that way, but it's manual. It's a push pull and a knob, and it's kind of interesting too. So I want to check out how much they cost. Just as a point to all this, because caboose hobby throws are like $3 a piece. You can get the more expensive ones that actually have like sliding switch components for frog power routing and signal and stuff. So they're more money, but they're
the ones like bullfrogs too.
There's the bullfrog too.
Yeah, and they are dirt cheap, and for manual control, they are really incredible. I like them, and they have the place for the micro switch. You can extend them a whole lot of distance. They're very shallow, and people are installing them on portable modules as well with good success. If you want a manual control.
Yeah, you're
right.
Do
they still make bullfrogs? I thought that what's his name in Canada? They stopped making them.
Oh, Fast Tracks? I don't think they did.
It's a pretty new product from them. I mean, it's not impossible that they've dropped it all of a sudden, but I don't think so. And it hasn't been out horribly long, and it has had rave reviews, and really easy to work with. If you want manual, I absolutely think they're a better choice than caboose ground throws, which I have a problem with because of their out of scale proportions so bad. But and I don't like the idea of someone touching my layout. However, if you not just spend all that time on all that detail work and chalk weathering on the track and stuff, and keep your hands off. But you can put them on the fascia with the bullfrogs are really nice. But if you can have those little touch toggles on the front and still have accessory control from DCC, you could even add that later. And it's that from what you're showing there from Barrett, that does not seem very expensive.
No, Barrett Hill actually does not seem expensive. But check this one out here. Have you guys ever seen this one?
Yeah, they are. For a yard throat or an interchange, and you can slap a bunch of those things together, man, it don't get anything more prototypical feeling than that.
Yeah, that's from a company called Hump Yard Purveyance. So this is a single unit. They have that way. They actually have a fascia mounted unit, and you can mount them inside the fascia. And they use little push pull rods like the Blue Point and bullfrogs do. And there you go. I mean, doesn't that look great? It's very like Andrew said, it's very prototypical. And
no way to do dual control. I love the idea of being able to control things manually like that, but I also want the ability to do DCC sometimes when I'm messing with JMRI. There's no way to do dual control with that.
Now, the only way to do that is via tortoise or servo. There's really no other way. Well, you can use twin coil machines with different control boards, but yeah, you can't have any form of manual. What's that?
I thought keys to control a switch instead of control the turnout directly. So as you control the hump yard, it would actually trigger JMRI I/O input, and that would then fire the turnout control. There'd be a slight delay, but it would be probably insignificant.
You could do that, but here becomes the problem. Just like I ran into this weekend. If you pull that lever and it sends an input to JMRI, then you send a signal from JMRI to throw the turnout. Now you're out of sync.
Yeah, that sounds like a headache. Yeah, I don't think.
Yes, it is. So these are basically, you buy two levers. They're $9 a piece. They're not much more than one of the more sophisticated caboose hobbies. They're probably about the same price as like a Blue Point or Bullfrog.
Yeah, they are. Bullfrog about so $9 a piece is cheaper than that. And if you have 8 turnouts in a yard ladder, yeah, and mount in a nice small package. And I seen a guy who models a C&O, and I can't remember his railroad right now. He had used an actual HL scale interlocking tower on the front of the fascia with the back of the building cut off, and put those inside of it. So you had the little model of the interlocking building right against the fascia with the back of the building cut off, and you just reached inside the building and pulled the levers.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah. That laser system you've seen there. I've seen that used on another layout before. He used it for the turnouts, but he also had other ones which he painted green for the signals, and he had semaphore signals.
Oh wow, a total manual interlocking. That's not
Yeah.
bad. That I mean, you're talking now. You really get into operation when you have to do all that.
Oh, and talking about servos, you can get a linear servo.
Oh yeah, Mike has some of them. You can get them
and
very small.
And they're very low profile too. So that'd be ideal for mounting inside small buildings or something like that if you want to service mount them.
Some of those linear servos are no bigger than this little block of wood. They're maybe even half that size. Some are small enough you can actually mount inside like a car frame, where you could use to actuate, like say, dump doors or something like that. Or if they had a long enough throw, you could even use and open a boxcar door if you wanted to. I don't know if they make any that have that long of a throw. I mean, Mr. Mikey might be able to give us some input on that.
Wow.
What's going on there, Tyreek?
How you doing?
All right, boss. So, Mike.
Yeah.
Speaking of bullfrog, Tyreek uses them.
Yes, he does. The linear servers you have, what's the biggest one you have, the longest throw?
Oh gosh, I think it runs about maybe like a quarter inch, 3/8, something like that.
Okay, so it's not enough like to open a boxcar door, say.
Not all the way. I mean, it could crack it open, or you would have to do something to multiply the effect of it. You would have to come up with some kind of linkage.
Yeah, you could do like a fulcrum, yeah, probably, yeah.
Those small linear ones are ideal for turnouts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you weren't talking about mounting them right on the turnout and cover. You could cover them with foliage, and people wouldn't even know they were there.
Yeah.
Tyreek's got all kinds of new wiring going under his layout.
Uh-oh.
So Tyreek, since you're using the bullfrog turnout controls, right? How do you like them?
They're good. Simple. Like after the first one, they say about 15 minutes to do glue it all together.
All right.
But you'll do it quicker than that after you do a few.
They look pretty robust. I mean, do they have a switch and everything for frog power routing and stuff on them?
Yeah, that's what the black one is.
Oh, okay. All right. So I mean, they're not a bad option either. They're nice and simple looking.
These three are done. I have to still get those two figured out, wired up. That's the other ones.
Nice. Yeah, they're pretty interesting looking too. I mean, I'll probably have to get a bunch of this stuff, and I'm going, like I said, I have a clinic to do at Amherst this year with Mike, so we're going to do like a whole thing on turnout control. And we want to have examples of all this stuff so we can show people.
Yeah,
I guess I got some purchasing to do.
Yeah, I think so.
Purchase that now.
Why is that?
It just take long as hell to come if you don't do pay the extra money.
Oh, I got you. Like about how long? A couple weeks?
My first time ordering from them, I think it took like a week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe in 3 weeks. I can't remember.
He's supposed to have that fixed right away. He's a Canadian distributor who's having to go through customs on everything, but he's working on getting a U.S. distributor that was supposed to be in play this month or next month or something like that. So here very soon, if not already, but probably here real soon, we should be able to track 2 or 3 day shipping.
Yeah, I had even cool. Like, because I like them a lot. Like I like that it's simple to put together. I had offered to help him out to ship stuff out for him if he would just send it to me, but he said he was working on it at the time, so.
Well, that's good. Like I'm waiting right now. Yankee Dabbler says they're in process of becoming a Tam Valley dealer, so that'll be good for me because then I can go right there and get whatever parts I need.
Mhm.
So I was talking with Mike about that today when I stopped by the store, and Well, by the way, my Lehigh Valley Snowbird engine came in. Got the they had to do 30 minutes worth of repairs to all those engines they bought. So there was bearings and gears that had to be replaced. Brand new. Yeah, Yankee Dabbler ordered 8 of those ES44s in, and all 8 were bad, and they all went back. So, yeah, we definitely came across some good information tonight. I learned a lot about Team Digital. I haven't investigated too many other servo control systems, so I got the Team Digital look at. I got Tam Valley, got Barrett Hill, and I forgot about the Bullfrog. So I got Bullfrog and Blue Point. I mean, I don't know. I'll probably set up a demonstration showing the Caboose Hobbies ground throw too, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I ain't gonna show like snap double pole, the solenoids, because if you know anything about doing model trains at all, that's the first thing you stop using. Because when we first, yeah, but that
the bullfrogs you can do double throw opposite side, like if you had a module.
Yeah, we were just at the short line club over in Ephrata, PA, and I don't know what system they use under the layup, but they have throws like that, and it has one area at Union Yard had throws on both sides. So you push pull the rod. It looks like there's some kind of rod mechanism under there, so it could have been custom built.
Yeah, I think that was custom, Barry. But it was like foosball. I mean, you push it one side to pop out the other side, vice versa.
Yeah,
that's how the bullfrog one is.
I swear all the cats are going to go. Always chasing them off my layout. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing this whole clinic for Amherst, and it'll give me a real good handle on how all this stuff, how different they are, what the advantages of all of them are before I go do my own layout. So it should be fun, Jim.
The one talking about cats, you're lucky you've only got a cat to worry about. My layout's outside, and I've got goannas which weigh ending up to 5-6 kilo running out of the top of my layout from time to time.
Well, yes. See, my cats, there's a room behind here that they sleep in, like when I'm not around the house or, at night. Because we have a automatic dog door. Well, it's not automatic. It's because the dogs are too stupid to wait 30 seconds for the door to unlock. So we left it on manual. They can go in and out, and the cat's not allowed to roam the neighborhood anymore. So I build them a pen out back, and then they can go out a tunnel through the window with a cat flap and go up and down a ladder. And they have a little box to sit on out there, so they're pretty happy in there. But when I get home at night, they want out, and they usually come upstairs with me. But I'm down here now in the training room, so they want to hang down with me and crawl under and see where all the tunnels lead, and So, has anybody got any questions on anything we've been talking about tonight? Because we haven't seen any questions come into the Q&A, so.
Best one of these to use for DC.
The Tam Valley can be used for DC. Yeah. So actually, if the input here, Phil, right here, you can put in AC or DC or DCC, and that serves as power. There's a jumper over here if you want to use external power plus just use this for your DCC input. So this jumper here lets you use an external power supply. But you can put a regular 12-volt DC supply in here, but to use the board, then you have to use these controllers with it. But that'll work your turnouts. It'll work the servos on a DC layout. So this is a good solution. I don't know, Andrew. Do they Team Digital, can they work the same way, or are they strictly DCC?
I think off the top of my head, one of them is compatible with DC.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Well, that's something to look at then, Philip, because I mean, I know these pretty well. Like I said, this will work, and then you might want to check out Team Digital too.
The beauty about Team Digital, you can expand it. You can have a CTC system connected to it. You can have detectors all connected to it, and they all plug together.
Well, yeah, Team Digital seems to be pretty popular for people who want to build like CTC controls and stuff like that. Well, what was it? The one lad wasn't. It was it Dick Elwell's layout, the Hoosick Valley? He had a manual CTC board, didn't he, Mike?
Yeah, I think he did, Barry.
Yeah, it was back under the steps, and he had that one track running beside the steps, going to the other part of the layout. I swear, when my layout goes up, I'm enclosing the lower deck in plastic so that the cats can't get in there.
Hey, aren't you down a cat anyway, Barry?
What's that?
Aren't you down a cat? Don't you only have 2 now?
Yes.
Yeah. So
they're still a pain.
I was gonna say 66% of the problem you once had.
Yeah, but thank God, because the one that keeps busting my tunnel is the one that's gone. Yeah. But he went to a good home. He went to one of my stepdaughter's girlfriends, and he's found his spot in the universe. He's always sitting on her lap, and he's one of those one people cats. Doesn't want anybody else to compete for his attention, so he's very happy there, which is good. And we always, if we have any pets and we need to get rid of them, we make sure that we know who they go to. We don't just take them to the SPCA or throw them out the door, you know.
You could always use a mouse trap at each end of your tunnel.
Oh yeah, then good. Yeah, it'll get caught in the mouse trap and come out the top of the tunnel.
But you only got to repair the tunnel once. Cats are smart.
Yeah, well, that's true. You're absolutely right there, Jim. But yeah, I remember the first time I ever heard the term catzilla, this guy was talking. He was running his trains around. He went in the tunnel, and like a proper engineer blew his horn, and then the volcano erupted in snarls and fur. Came right out the top of the tunnel. So I've already repaired mine twice, but Loki is no longer here, and his name aptly suited him because he was a troublemaker. But he was a nice cat, but if you didn't pay attention to him, he just did bad things, you know. All right, gentlemen. Well, we're about a little 10 minutes shy of the time, so I'm going to go through and go back through our little slides here. Okay. Then we can wrap things up for the evening. There we go. Present to everyone. So tonight everybody was watching Barry and Mike's MRR Tech Show, our live hangout presentation on various methods of turnout control via manual, DC, or DCC. And so this is brought to you by YouTube Model Builders, your source for free model railroad resources. And go and check out our free online e-mag. Tuesdays and Thursdays we have our live chat and presentations through Google Hangouts. And then we have our once-a-month live show with Big Bill Graham and myself. And to find out more info, go to YouTubeModelBuilders.com. And please do not forget, if you can, join the YouTube Model Builders Big Build Contest hosted by Eric Hall of IMRROCOM YouTube channel. Build a model railroad structure and put your build on YouTube with videos per his instruction video or the rules on our website, and you could be eligible to win great prizes. So again, go to www.youtubemodelbuilders.com to check out the rules and submit your information. And get your build up there. You could win something really nice. So that's it, folks. I think we are done for the evening. So
going back to your Team Digital, I just had a look at their website.
Mm-hmm.
They only have one which is track or DC powered, but it's
Okay.
only for controlling tortoises.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, that's the
Everything,
thing is tortoises take DC. It's pretty easy to use DC control with them, with circuits and stuff. So that's probably meant for you to tie in like CTC controls and everything to run it then.
yeah.
I mean, does it have inputs for toggle switches and stuff like that, Andrew?
Sorry?
Does it have inputs where you can hook to front panel toggle switches and everything to the board and then tie the board to the tortoises?
Yes, it does.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to check out their stuff.
It does have LocoNet if you want to use LocoNet as well.
Okay.
It also has preset routing. So if you have it for a yard, you can press and it'll throw all the tortoises to the route you want.
And you can do that without DCC. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing to know. I got to really check them out more because I know a lot of people I've been seeing recently have been talking about using them for signal systems and stuff. So I want to check out what they have in that capacity.
Yeah,
But
Team Digital, DCC circuit breakers, a 4-amp booster for your accessories,
gotcha.
CSC setting control, block occupancy.
Nice. So that's pretty much got everything you kind of need to do all kinds of layout controls.
Yeah.
But here's the big rub in all of this. Next, I guess this weekend coming up, right, is Portland, right, the National Train Show, and a lot of the focus is going to be on layout command control. And MRA has ratified the standard, sent all the standards off to the manufacturers, and the story has it that a lot of the manufacturers are going to be debuting, or at least announcing, NMRA compatible layout control products. So
which means what?
Well, the layout control products are, rather than you using your Digitrex system to run your trains, control your signals, operate your turnouts, the LCC components will do all that for you, and they will be independent of your DCC system, because that way you don't need as much complicated DCC controls to do it. And so you have a box that will tie in, and it'll have a network of its own, much like, say, LocoNet or the NCE bus, and it will communicate to boards, and it'll be, doesn't matter what DCC system you have, it's totally independent then. So at least that's what.
Because right now, all the stuff we're using to control trains through DCC, like signal stuff, they're kind of a hack. DCC was designed to control locomotives, and we've hacked all this stuff onto the side of it. LCC is not designed to do locomotives. It's totally designed for all the stuff you guys have been talking about tonight.
Right, because what they were saying is that the DCC bus, like Andrew just said, that the DCC bus was meant to control locomotives, and what we've done is, because it's a communications bus, we've kept tacking on different protocols to control this or control that. Just depends upon how your interface is. If you're running LocoNet, you use the LocoNet protocols, but still you're sending command to a decoder to flip a turnout or flip a signal. And what it's doing is the bandwidth on the bus is not really designed for that activity. No. So what they've done is they've came up with a new bus design. I think it's based on what's called the CAN bus, which is used in networking, like in your car, to control the components in your car. So it's a it's a high bandwidth bus. So it's meant to handle all that traffic load. That way, it leaves your DCC bus, LocoNet, whatever, to control your trains. So that way, if you're running a lot of signal operations, you don't get command latency because it's on its own system. It doesn't affect your trains anymore.
And it's probably going to make layout control cheaper. We're not sure, but the expectation is that it's going to be simpler. That controlling a turnout won't require near the complexity of a decoder. It will just have an output from the LCC bus, and in theory, a decoder. It may be called something else. Actually, it is something else. It's called a publisher and a consumer. So the consumer, the turnout controller, would be 2 or 3 electrical parts instead of 30 electrical parts, and may end up costing us $2 instead of $20. The hype around LCC is just tremendous.
Oh yeah, I mean I can't wait to see about it. I mean I wish I was going to Portland to learn more about it, but I'm sure some of the clinics will be posted online after the show, so I'll get to read more about it. But I want to go read the standard on the NMRA site and see what it's all about. And I'm looking forward to some of the products coming. I'm sure I'll see some products in Amherst in January, so I'll be on the lookout for them. You know.
So a question I got then is do I wait to buy a better controller, or do I stick with my Bachmann Easy Command controller until I see what comes up next? This is kind of reminding me of my VHS. Then I bought my DVD, and then I had to buy my Blu-ray, and now I'm wondering what system's next.
LCC's right around the corner, man. I mean, if we're talking about 2 years from now, I'd have a different opinion, but we're like a week away from knowing where we stand with LCC, and maybe a few weeks until we have a whole nother set of websites to look at for LCC. So
I would hold off, because I mean at that point, if you're happy with your Easy Command, you're only running a few trains, Jim. The LCC side of it's a totally separate system, so you can do whatever you want with that, and still have the nice simple DCC system that you have already, so you don't have to put out $170 for a Digitrax or more for whatever for an NCE or more. So the LCC components become standard, across all the manufacturers.
Well, it's going to be wonderful for me because I'm going dead rail as soon as I possibly can, and LCC is going to work well with dead rail.
Yep. So this isn't a good time to be in the hobby if you're a tech geek like Mike and I are. Yep. So I'm really looking for, and even Andrew. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen with this. So I'm assuming we'll see some products or some announcements. Probably more come January because they always make a raft of announcements at Amherst as well. So we should really look forward to this. I mean, think about it, the LCC is basically the communications bus for everything but your trains. So it gets everything off of the much narrower pipe that the DCC bus is. It's put this way, the LCC bus is like the track for all your accessories. What they'll operate on.
And it's simple. Part of the problem with DCC is the perception of complexity and the complexity. So a locomotive decoder has all of CVs and sound and light controls and all these things that are in there. But a turnout needs to be
simple,
diverging route, and frog. It needs to be simple. So LCC
and then send the signal back.
Yeah, and the LCC bus is closer to being Twitter. You post something, that's what it is. Published consumer architecture is like Twitter. You send a post to it, and it does what it does on the other side. It also does something that you talked about a minute ago that was such a problem, is staying in sync. LCC natively well supports multiple control for multiple output or single control for multiple output, so you can have a single button and it do a bunch of stuff, or you can have 10 buttons that do one thing, and it natively supports all that intelligently, and it does that with extremely simple hardware. It's just going to make it's going to be cheap, and it's going to make all of our lives easier. And it's a week away from knowing where the NMRA stands on it. It's like you said, the
NMRA mag this month announced that they've ratified the standard and it's been sent to all the manufacturers, and that they were pushing that everything's going to hit the wall at Portland. So this should definitely be an interesting. I really wish I was going there, but
no kidding.
I ain't got the vacation and I ain't got the money. So
no kidding. But there's a bunch of people like Mike Deverall. Mike Deverall does a Colorado Front Range. He's going to Portland, and he was doing every LCC clinic they had and was going to be posting videos. So in the next 2 weeks,
that'll be nice.
Hotbed of activity, hearing what everybody's take on LCC is. So if you're into this kind of stuff, in the next week or so, you're going to have a lot of YouTube videos to get caught up and understand it.
Oh yeah, and then I'm sure, like I said, a lot of the clinics will be posted online because a lot of the groups usually put at least the presentations available on individual websites. So I'll be looking to get my hands on them. Mike, we need to tell JD that he should go hang out in some of the clinics and see what's going on. You never know what products TCS could build from this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure that they were actually in the early stages with the NMRA net.
Yeah, because this all came out of um, a group called OpenLCB, which started the design of the bus, and then the NMRA got involved and proposed a standard called NMRA-NET, but it was kind of foundering. So the group that did OpenLCB kept pushing and pushing, and then finally the NMRA got on board, and then that's what became LCC. But the design for it has been around for a long time. But part of what's the problem with things like LocoNet is they're actually a fairly old architecture as far as control buses go. I think LocoNet's based somewhat on what's called RS-485, which is basically a multi-drop point serial connection with components that have addresses. So it's a very old kind of industrial communications design that's limited. That's why they had to tack on all the features via software.
Mm-hmm.
So
the
components have to actually know the software.
Right.
What's that, Mike?
The other thing that adds on to cost with LocoNet is the fact that they use the RJ11 jacks, and that just adds price like crazy. It's like $20 a jack.
Well, it's actually not even that. They use RJ12, which is uncommon. It's a 6-pin variety.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, the RJ12's not that. Well, yeah, it is kind of common nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, phones are RJ11, which is 4-pin. Computer networks are RJ45, which are 8-wire. And you can still buy the RJ12s, but they're hard to find sometimes. I mean, so, like if you go to Home Depot, you can buy them, but they don't have as many as they do RJ11s. You got to go look for them,
I think Dell City has those.
Hey, Troy.
Sorry, I just didn't want to be interrupting anybody.
Oh, that's quite all right. You can stay in the background. Well, it's 11:34, gentlemen, so we're going to call this a night. If everybody wishes to, they can hang out for a while. But I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast. I hope everybody's enjoyed themselves. And you all take care. We'll see you next month, all right? And unless things change, we'll be a week earlier next month. I believe it'll be September 15th. And we will have guest Miles Hale and Kent Hurley. We'll be talking about 3D printing. So I hope everybody joins us and learns a lot about some of this new technology coming our way. So everybody have a good evening. Thank you all for participating. We all learned a lot of stuff from everybody. Thank you, Mike. And we'll see you next month.